Hello everyone. Now today we want to talk about the technical tips for Ielts speaking. If you actually were opportune to watch the previous video, we talked about the psychological skills you need in order to prepare for the Ielts speaking. And the reason why I started with that or with those aspects is because a lot of people that are practicing candidates focus on the technical skills which I'm to talk about now. But they do not know that just as you need the technical skills, you also need the psychological skills for Ielts preparation. Now, for these technical skills, they relate to the 4 criteria for speaking well in the Ielts speaking skill. Now, the very 4 criteria were the one given by British Council themselves, which they use in grading all forms of candidates that actually sit for the Ielts, be it people that sit for the Ielts academic, Ielts general training, Ielts UKVI, which is the United Kingdom Visa and Immigration, or even the Ielts life skills. And what are these criteria? The very first one is your lexical resource. When you are making use of English language, when you are speaking with your examiner, you have to have a lot of vocabularies. Okay, I always talk about something in class. I say that the Ielts examiners are not looking for Patrick Obiagbon's grammar. You are not to speak in a way that you are going to even confuse the examiner. Rather, you are to use some words, some vocabularies that they will understand, that a layman will understand, but will show your proficiency. You are not to use a kindergarten's, what they call it, vocabulary. Rather, you would actually strike a balance in between how you would speak cheaply and how you would speak so ambiguously. Now, that's the very first tip. The second criteria, which is the second tip for today, is your grammatical range or accuracy. Now, this relates to how well you actually make use of the words in combination. Now, lexical resource is you picking words, but grammatical range and accuracy means you combining those words to actually make sense. Now, if you want to talk, for instance, in the speaking skill, because we have 3 aspects or 3 tasks in the speaking. We have the first task, which we call the general daily topics. We have the long term, and we have the analytical discussion, which is the 2-way discussion between you and your examiner. Now, in these aspects, most of the questions that they ask you always revolve around the 3 major tenses in English: the past tense, the present tense, and the future tense. Now, when you are using the past tense, you must always make use of the narrative essay platform, in the sense that when you are talking in the past tense, you have to always be telling a story. You'll be narrating a story. And if you are narrating a story, you are not expected to actually hear you talk about the future or make use of the future tense. You will use the past tense. But when you are describing, when you are giving a descriptive essay, you have to make use of the present tenses. When you are describing maybe your furniture at home, you can't say it was, you say it is a furniture made of wood. You have to make use of the present tense. When you are talking about an aspiration, you have to use the future tense. Now, all those grammatical inclinations that you use would be marked in the Ielts. Now, there's a common mistake I always notice when I teach in the classes and even when I mark assignments. People always do not know the differences between singularity and plurality, especially when it comes to nouns and verbs. Now, there is something that I want to make you understand now. When nouns are in the singular, they do not have this S's. But when verbs are in singular, they have the S. The boy talks. But in the plural, it's going to be the boys talk. The verb is not going to have S, but the noun will have S or any form of plurality. Now, the third criteria is coherence and cohesion. In every way you speak, you must make use of linking words we have in English language, like furthermore, like firstly, like lastly, like in other words, and you have to know the usage, the context of usage. You can't just use them anyhow. You must know how well to use them. The last criteria is the pronunciation. In every speech you actually give, you must be able to speak well. We are not expecting you to form accents. Don't go and learn American accents and try to impress. We say that in the IELTS, you have to attempt to express yourself, not to impress the examiners. And it's only then you actually get a very good score. So thank you very much for taking or for watching this episode, and I would expect you in the other episodes for the listening, the reading, and the writing aspects of IELTS.